Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Tonight, a local school district wanting to reassure parents that their children are safe. It comes as social media threats of school shootings are circulating here and across the country. As Big Fox's Matt Kleindens reports, school officials say the threats are not credible.
Good evening, and school officials are letting parents aware about a false shooting threat that appears to target the Corning Painted Post School District. However, it appears the threat originated outside of Corning. According to Corning Painted Post officials, a false school shooting threat is circulating on Snapchat. The message has appeared across the country and depicts a student saying that they and other students plan to shoot up a school on Tuesday. The message interchanges which schools would be targeted in the threat. According to local law enforcement, the threat is not credible. CPP Superintendent Michelle Caulfield released a statement to parents letting them know about the false threat, saying that students with concerns should reach out to their principal. She also encouraged parents to talk with their kids about appropriate use of social media. The CPP school district is partnering with local law enforcement to provide additional police presence. Matt Kleindens, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
An inmate attack at the Elmira prison on Monday resulted in 4 officers being injured, including one who was stabbed. The incident began around 8 a.m. when an inmate reportedly punched an officer and took him to the ground. Authorities say a second inmate joined in as officers were trying to restrain the first inmate and stabbed another officer with a sharpened toothbrush. 2 officers were taken to Arnott Hospital, while 2 others were treated at the prison. The 2 inmates involved in the fight are serving sentences for murder and manslaughter charges. Heavy rain and flooding hitting the Northeast. A nor'easter making its way through the area today. This is what it looked like in Hoboken, New Jersey. Some areas received as much as 6 inches of rain. New York Governor Kathy Hochul and New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy have declared states of emergency. Murphy's declaration covers the entire state of New Jersey. Hochul's declaration covers all of New York City and 17 counties north of the city. Meteorologist Kim Walker joins us now with more on what you can expect from now until the end of the week. Kim?
Some of our hometowns picked up between 1 to 2 inches. If you move a little bit more to the south and to the east, right outside of our viewing area, there were some areas that picked up 3 to 4 inches of rain, and so they had a flash flood watch there, but not so across much of our viewing area. Tonight, it is going to be quite cold. Winds will start to pick up as well. Readings mainly in the low 50s through the early morning hours, and then we dip down to around 48 degrees in the early morning hours. It will be pretty cloudy. We do have another round of rain coming our way with a very strong storm system coming in by the latter part of this week, and it may affect your Halloween weekend. I'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes.
Parents worried about their young children getting COVID could be getting some good news in the coming days. Jonathan Seri has more.
The FDA is poised to expand COVID vaccine access to one of the biggest groups not yet eligible, children ages 5 through 11. An independent advisory panel meeting today to discuss Pfizer's vaccine. And if they give the green light, the shots would just need one final approval from the CDC, meaning kids could be rolling up their sleeves as early as this week.
Far from being spared from this harm of COVID-19, in the 5 to 11-year-old age range, there have been over 1.9 million infections, over 8,300 hospitalizations, about a third of which have required intensive care unit stays.
The move is being welcomed by doctors who say vaccinating kids is an essential part of ending the pandemic, pointing to data from Pfizer showing the vaccine was more than 91% effective in clinical trials. And the feds say they're ready to ship millions of doses to schools, doctors' offices, and other healthcare providers.
This is the perfect way to help protect your children from getting COVID-19.
Meanwhile, we're learning more about new travel guidelines going into effect next month. The State Department will require all international travelers, including American citizens, to be fully vaccinated and provide a negative COVID test prior to boarding. And there will be few exemptions granted. Officials say the policy puts public health first.
It is consistent and stringent, protecting U.S. citizens and residents as well as those who come to visit us.
For now, children under 18 will be exempt from the new rules, which are set to go into effect November 8th. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Policy heads at social media companies YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat testified before senators today after a high-profile whistleblower said that Facebook and Instagram are harming kids. Caroline Shively has more from Washington.
As millions of children and teens worldwide sat glued to screens, a Senate subcommittee brought in leaders at 3 social media giants to find out what they're doing to keep kids safe.
Everything that you do is to add users, especially kids, and keep them on your apps for longer. It's the same rabbit hole.
Lawmakers grilled representatives from TikTok, Snapchat, and Google, the parent company of YouTube. Between them, TikTok has 1 billion active monthly users, Snapchat has 500 million, and YouTube has 2 billion.
The challenges are complex, but we are determined to work hard and keep the platform safe and create age-appropriate experiences.
Ahead of Tuesday's hearing, Google told members of Congress that it removed 7 million YouTube accounts they believed young children and preteens were secretly using in the first 9 months of this year.
We want to give parents the controls that allow them to make the right choices for their children.
Lawmakers also asked TikTok, whose parent company is based in China, why it tracks information on children.
Senator, TikTok is an entertainment platform where people watch and enjoy and create short-form videos.
That is it from the positive, but there's also a negative. And the negative is that you are building a profile, a virtual you, of our children.
If the companies can't police themselves, lawmakers say they'll do it for them. Congress is now considering at least 2 bills that would hold social media companies accountable for how they present content to children. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
President Biden hitting the campaign trail today in a race that could have big implications for both parties. It comes as Democrats are trying to make headway on Capitol Hill for President Biden's agenda. Doug Luzader has more.
We are going to hear a lot of talk about this Virginia governor's race over the next few days, and this is going to be a critical test for both parties and the president.
What are we doing? What in God's name are we doing?
The president in New Jersey asking a difficult question. So what is he doing? Well, today he's headed to Virginia to help nudge a Democrat across the finish line in a race for governor that has become shockingly close. In a former red state that has turned blue in recent elections, Virginia's race has pitted former Democratic Governor Terry McAuliffe against Republican Glenn Youngkin.
So we're at a turning point right now.
The Democratic heavyweights have flooded the state in recent days for what is considered a bellwether race. Along with the president's still stalled agenda on Capitol Hill, this could determine the direction of next year's midterm elections. And we've seen more evidence now that the president's approval numbers are in steep decline, below 50%.
So let's get this done. Let's move.
The president has been urging action from his fellow Democrats on his massive social spending plan, but there are still stark disagreements within the party on which taxes should go up to pay for it.
So our Democratic colleagues have become so tax hike happy that they're throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks.
And the president would like Congress to make some headway on that before that election in Virginia, which is a week from today. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
A TikToker with a large following is accused of murdering his wife and her new companion. Misha DeBono has more from San Diego.
Not guilty pleas to all counts and allegations.
In a blue jumpsuit and behind glass, 29-year-old Ali Abulaban was seen sobbing at Monday's arraignment as the prosecutor read aloud the details of the double homicide he's being charged with. The famous TikToker is facing life in prison without the possibility of parole for allegedly killing his estranged wife, 28-year-old Anna Abulaban, and her friend, 29-year-old Rayburn Barron, inside Spire, the couple's high-rise apartment in East Village.
He ran from the elevator to the apartment. He immediately fired 6 rounds from his firearm. First, he shot Rayburn Barron 3 times. The bullets entered his neck, his cheek, and the back of his head at close range. And then he fired at his wife, leaving 1 gunshot wound in her forehead.
Deputy District Attorney Taryn Brass says following the couple's recent history of domestic violence, his wife Anna was trying to leave the marriage after Ali reportedly pushed her to the ground last month.
She no longer wanted to be with him. She was actually planning to file a restraining order against him, and she had kicked him out of the apartment on October 18th. And so he had been staying at a hotel for 3 nights.
But Brass told Fox 5 that Ali secretly kept a copy of the key to their apartment. She says he snuck in and vandalized it while installing an app on their 5-year-old daughter's iPad, allowing him to hear everything inside the apartment in real time, which is how he knew Barron was inside. That's when Ali allegedly drove to their apartment and opened fire, killing them both. Shortly after Ali picked up their 5-year-old daughter from school, he was arrested on the 15 freeway less than an hour later with a weapon and his daughter inside the car. Prosecutors also say the TikToker called his mom after the shooting and admitted to killing his wife.
Fall foliage in the southern tier has reached its peak, with Halloween just days away. Residents and tourists can safely enjoy the fall colors by hiking the rim trails at the Watkins Glen State Park. Residents can also see the fall foliage and celebrate Halloween with a cemetery walk in Montour Falls. To find out more events to do with peak foliage in the southern tier, you can go to iloveny.com. Still ahead tonight, what seems like a highly organized caravan of thousands of migrants is heading through Mexico toward the U.S. border.
The situation in my country is real tough monetarily, and so therefore I'm trying this time to go back to the United States.
More on their grueling journey by foot and what some say is their message to President Biden.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. It's been a drencher of the day. And so yesterday our highs were in the 70s. Today our afternoon temperatures were running in the 40s. So a 22-degree difference in Corning, 22 degrees cooler in Elmira, 21 in Bath, about 18 degrees cooler in Wayland, and in Mansfield it was about 22 degrees cooler as well. But the good news is the rain is continuing to diminish. Our future radar is showing there will be a few showers remaining for the next couple of hours, but notice that around 6 o'clock in the morning, all this will be moving out, and we are going to start off with a little bit of cloud cover, but I think there will be some peaks of sunshine during the day. So here's a look at what you can expect. Clouds and breezy conditions on Wednesday, and it's going to be a cold breeze at that. Some sun on Thursday, and then we have another round of rain by the end of the week, and it looks like it's going to be even a stronger system. So for tomorrow, as high pressure builds in behind this low pressure system, it will kick up those winds, and so it will be pretty blustery at times. And again, it's going to be a cold wind, making those temperatures feel about 5 degrees cooler. We're going to take a break from the rain on Thursday into Friday, and then by the end of the day on Friday, it looks like some of this rain will return, coming in as a low pressure system moves out of the south and moves toward the Twin Tiers. And so there will be some shower activity initially Friday night, and then more rain during the day on Saturday. So it looks like we're going to have a pretty wet weekend, at least for your Saturday, maybe even a few showers for Halloween. Tonight, though, it is going to be cold. We dive down to around 47 degrees in Bath, around 50 degrees in Corning, 48 degrees in Elmira. Highs tomorrow will be quite chilly, 58 degrees, but it will be very close to normal. 58 degrees in Elmira, 56 in Corning, cooler in Wayland, around 52 degrees, and around 55 in Mansfield. Our extended forecast calls for temperatures that will actually warm up a little bit, as we are going to see a little bit more sunshine on Thursday. Highs around 62 degrees after starting off at around 38. But here comes our next round of rain. I think that rain will start off in the afternoon on Friday. It will be chilly, and then occasional rain on Saturday. It looks like those showers will remain during the day on Sunday. So our highs will be kept mainly in the 50s, upper 50s over the weekend, and overnight lows will drop down into the 40s. It looks like maybe we'll see a period of drier weather on Monday, highs close to around 60 degrees, and then it looks like another storm system will start to move in on Tuesday. So those clouds will increase again, and we also have the possibility of more rain.
What seems like a highly organized caravan of thousands of migrants is heading through Mexico and toward the U.S. border. Griff Jenkins is in Mexico with more.
They've been walking for 3 days, a new migrant caravan, 3,000 strong from all over the world. Central America, South America, Haiti, Cuba, Africa, refusing to be deterred by the Mexican National Guard, who tried to stop them on the first day. They're determined on making it to the United States.
The situation in my country is real tough monetarily, and so therefore I'm trying this time to go back to the United States.
But the journey is hard, on foot in 90-degree heat, women with small babies, children in strollers, some even wheelchair-bound. Temporary aid stations along the way offer assistance. The caravan is following the same path of the caravans of 2019, organized by the same person, Irenejo Mujica of Pueblo Unidos Migrantes. Only this time, a QR code was used to sign up. Mujica is demanding the Mexican government do more for the migrants and give them work permits. But he also has harsh criticism for how President Biden is handling the border crisis.
All the Biden administration is doing is throwing money at it. You know, it's not really fixing anything. I don't even think they care about this issue. So when I see this, it hurts me because I voted for Biden.
Many migrants also had a message for the president.
We want to be there to work. The message we want to send to him is to be patient for everyone.
And much of the group knows their journey may not be a successful one. Are you worried you might get there and be deported back to Honduras?
I'm really worried for many things.
Organizers say the migrants will start marching again well before dawn. Mexican officials won't say whether they'll try and stop them, although they've been monitoring them all along the route, which if it's the same as 2 years ago, they've got more than 2,400 miles left to the U.S. border. What's different this time? A new law prohibiting Mexican nationals from transporting them.
A multi-million-dollar agreement has been reached between Texas and Johnson & Johnson related to opioid-related claims. Today, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announced the more than $290 million settlement. As part of the settlement, Johnson & Johnson agreed to pay into a qualified settlement fund. Now, that fund represents Texas's allocation of the global abatement settlement.
This is not the end of our negotiations. We have other companies that we're still working on negotiating, which we talked about in one of our earlier press conferences. Almost $1.5 billion from the 3 distributors. But as you know, the opioid crisis is not going away. Opioid deaths are up almost 30% from last year.
5 families are enjoying new clothes and sports equipment courtesy of a Kansas City Chiefs player. Offensive lineman and physician Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif treated them all to shopping sprees Monday. Alan Shope reports the gift is to honor first responders and efforts to stay healthy.
I can't find anything but my sister's clothes.
Some might call 9-year-old Alejandro Delgado a picky shopper.
I don't like it a lot. It's definitely too bright. Thanks, but no thanks.
In fact,
this would look like a sweater of me going to a wedding.
He knows clothes. Most would say he's just using his money wisely.
You like this? Yep.
Alejandro and his family, one of 5 families with the Police Athletic League, receiving a free $500 shopping spree at Academy Sports on Monday, courtesy of this guy. Because
having a healthy lifestyle is something really important, you know, and it's not everybody, unfortunately, who's able to afford all the equipment.
Chiefs offensive lineman Laurent Duvernay-Tardif says it's also a part of this week's National First Responder Day. Tardif, you might recall, opted out of last year's football season to go back to his home in Canada and help fight COVID.
So many people worked so hard throughout the pandemic.
Him taking a year off to help the medical field, that's huge.
Along with each family getting $500 each to spend, the Police Athletic League getting a special surprise as well, a $2,500 check.
That helps us tremendously.
As for Alejandro, he's still working that budget.
And a basketball hoop, but they cost way too much.
But a new bike, that's right in the sweet spot.
And we're going to get you a helmet too.
An example of one of the world's first postage stamps goes up for sale. The penny black dates back to 1840 and is on display ahead of auction at Sotheby's in London. It's expected to fetch an estimated $8.25 million. The stamp, which bears the image of Queen Victoria, is attached to a document and comes from the archive of British Postal Service reformer Robert Wallace, a Scottish politician. The penny black was first issued in the UK after inventor Sir Rowland Hill proposed an adhesive stamp to indicate prepayment of postage. Pop-Tart is being sued over claims about the lack of strawberries in its strawberry-flavored pastry. The company is facing a $5 million class action lawsuit after numerous customers became disgruntled. Now, according to the suit, the strawberry Pop-Tart is misleading customers and actually contains more apple and pears. Lawyers hope to argue Kellogg's must be more transparent with shoppers about its products. The company, though, says it doesn't comment on pending lawsuits. An indie filmmaking icon opens up, and famous siblings will be roasted in a new comedy special. Here's Ashley Vorkin with the latest from the Hollywood Nation.
The foundation upon which my entire life was built.
Smith tells his life story. Clark couples up and the Joe Bros go for laughs in the Hollywood Nation.
You'll see us like you've never seen us before.
Nick, Joe, and Kevin Jonas will be tearing into each other in the new Netflix comedy Jonas Brothers Family Roast. The one-hour comedy special will include sketches, songs, and games. Kenan Thompson is hosting the roast. Pete Davidson, Niall Horan, Gabriel Iglesias, and John Legend are among the list of stars making guest appearances. It premieres November 23rd.
Amelia to the left.
Emilia Clarke and Chiwetel Ejiofor are teaming up for a new project. According to Variety, the British actors will star in the sci-fi rom-com The Pod Generation. They will play a New York couple looking to start a family and consider trying a new tool that allows couples to share a pregnancy by using removable artificial wombs or pod. Clarke is also on board as executive producer. Production is expected to begin in March 2022.
This is what I've been waiting for my whole life.
And a new trailer for Clerk is now available. The documentary chronicles iconic indie filmmaker Kevin Smith's life and career. It will feature interviews with family, friends, and Hollywood peers. The film will be available digitally on November 23rd.
I think I'm going to be so much more.
And as always, we want to leave you with a smile tonight. A Halloween costume based on the Kit Kat candy bar is so authentic, it actually breaks apart. The Hershey Company recently unveiled the Kit Kat Group Halloween costume. The company says 4 people can actually fit into that getup, which was named the most creative 4-person costume of 2021 by the Halloween and Costume Association. A spokesperson for the association says group costumes are trending right now. It stands 7 feet tall and includes 4 wearable wafers and a magnetic wrapper. Unfortunately, though, the offbeat costume is not available in stores.